name's Jaronczyk. I'm the first vice president of the Sheriff Officers Association. It's the union representing all Nassau County Correctional Officers in all supervisory ranks, up to and including the rank of correction captain. I've been with the department for 21 years. I started in 1990 as a correctional officer, and in 1999 I was promoted to corporal. Also, for the past 8 years, I've been an elected union official with the Sheriff Officers Association, where I've held numerous titles and responsibilities, starting out as a board delegate in 2003, working my way up to my position right now, which is first vice president of the association. Standing to my side right now is Timo. He's the current third vice president of the association. The primary responsibility and the core mission of a county government is to protect the health and safety of the citizens. It should go without saying that the Sheriff's Department and the corrections officers who work there, who are all New York State peace officers, provide a vital and integral part of public safety in Nassau County. However, today, we're listening to Sheriff Rosado present County Executive Mangano's 2012 budget for the Correctional Center, a budget that will seriously cut the tools that are needed to provide for the core mission of the county, which is to protect the citizens, protect the health and safety of the citizens. When you attack something at the core, the whole body collapses around it. When you have cut to the bone, when you put the public and your officers and inmates at risk. County Executive Mangano has taken the approach of blaming the unions and demonizing his county employees as greedy and overpaid, instead of coming up with a comprehensive and strategic plan to get Nassau County out of the financial abyss that he has only compounded by his lack of leadership and vision. Mr. Mangano did inherit a $48.5 million deficit from the prior administration upon assuming office. But the first thing he did, literally at his inauguration speech, was to repeal the home energy tax that provided some $40 million worth of revenue to the county. Then he repealed $128 million in tax revenues slated for fiscal year 2010, all the while blaming the county workers for their overly generous contracts and attempting to solve his fiscal irresponsibility on the backs of the county employees. Currently, my union has over 350 officers who are frozen in their steps with no salary movement whatsoever. Of those, I have 3 classes of officers that are stuck at starting pay at $30,000 a year. That is $14.42 an hour. These officers are currently working at or under the poverty level for a family of 4 in Nassau County, with no wage increases, no annual step increases. They're just frozen. County Executive Mangano's multi-year plan calls for 0 raises for the next 4 years, 2012 through 2015. On top of that, County Executive Mangano is now seeking to mandate all county employees to pay 25% of the health care costs. If County Executive Mangano has his way, these unfortunate officers who are at starting pay and already in 2011 below the poverty level in Nassau County would have a reduction of their salaries of 15%. And they have no idea when an increase will be coming, because for the next 4 years, he's budgeting no increases for the employees, for a career in law enforcement, protecting the public. Does this sound like an overly generous contract to anyone up there? No, it does not. Are County Executive Mangano's demands unreasonable? Absolutely, yes they are. I'd also like to remind everyone that in April of 2008, then County Legislator Mangano voted in favor of our contract. It was not a binding arbitration agreement, it was a negotiated agreement that we had between the county, and it was ratified by our membership, and it was voted on by the legislature. The vote was passed unanimously before the legislature. Yet before the ink was dry in our first agreement, as early as February 2009, our union was once again asked to go to the bargaining table in an attempt to come up with more concessions that were necessary to help the county recover from their $150 million deficit at the time. In July of 2009, a successor agreement was reached with the county, which provided a plan for shared sacrifice, including significant labor savings for fiscal years 2009, 2010, and currently, right now, we are still under that labor concessions right now in 2011. Again, then Legislator Mangano, who was also a future candidate for County Executive Mangano, voted in favor of our plan, which offered recurring labor savings that helped the county get out of its financial deficit during that time. But now County Executive Mangano has reversed his position and is claiming that our contracts, the ones that he voted for, are overly generous.
3 minutes has expired.
You can wrap up. couple more minutes, please. Now, Sheriff Sposato is here and he's presenting his budget, stating that through his operational initiatives, he's going to save $5 million. Now, when asked how he was going to save that $5 million, his quote was, he's looking into a lot of stuff, it's going to be security stuff. I don't know how it is for you people up there, but to me, that needs to be explained a little better. I will tell you that some of the serious cuts that he's looking to do are going to seriously impinge on the health and safety of the county residents, the officers at the jail, and the inmates at the jail. If history is to repeat itself, and these cuts are put into operation, there will likely be an increase in inmate lawsuits against the county, claiming unsafe conditions and the department's failure to protect them, an increase in injuries to both inmates and officers alike, an increased amount of uses of force by staff, brought on by violent criminals who are angry with their unsafe conditions and increased limitations of their incarceration. Some of the mandated initiatives detailed Sheriff Sposato has already implemented to this point is reduced supervision of inmates in housing areas. He's removed some frontline supervisors from housing areas, which obviously everyone can agree is not a good idea. He's giving additional assignments to corrections supervisors, which actually burdens the supervisors with additional duties that will diminish their effective ability to supervise the areas they're assigned and the subordinates assigned to them. He's closed inmate housing areas inside the facility, and he's created an artificial overcrowding situation and jammed them all into one area, so he can save bodies on posts. Obviously, that creates increased tensions, and actually, he's juggling the population. Just last month, Sheriff Sposato moved approximately 20 inmates that were cleared from protective custody back into protective custody, which created increased tension in that dorm because he needed room in the general population dorms because he had no other room and he didn't want to open up another floor. All this occurred while there was 2 housing areas in the B building facility that were completely empty, but he didn't want to staff them with officers. He stated before that he's closed the secure prison ward in the hospital. What he didn't tell you is there are still inmates that are assigned to the hospital and they're just on an open post now in the hospital. So now the citizens of Nassau County are going to be in a hospital room right next to a possible violent inmate. Just last week, in fact, I think it was October 2nd, there was an incident at the hospital where there was a violent inmate who assaulted officers previously in the jail and assaulted officers on a Friday night while he was in the hospital emergency room. He was admitted to the 9th floor of the hospital. The officers were assigned to watch him. There was 2 officers on him. About 9:30 in the morning, the inmate became assaulted, got into a struggle with the officers. The officers hit their handheld radio walkie-talkie, hit the alarm button on it, but no one responded. There was no prison ward to respond. There was no hospital security to respond. The nearest response came 12 minutes later from the correctional facility. 12 minutes. Now that day, there was no major use of force, no officers got injured, the inmate was not badly injured, but can we be that lucky next time? If you don't think that's an attack on public safety, these operational procedures, then I'd argue differently. Sheriff Sposato is continually taking the position of opening and closing these hospital posts only when it was cost effective, without taking into consideration the risk or the safety of the officers and the general public. He mentioned before operational initiatives, redeployment of officers, saving $3 million from not filling vacant positions. I don't know what that means. I'd like an explanation to that.
You have to wrap up what you're going to say.
Thank you, President Officer. I got one more thing. There's also, the most important thing is, he's reduced the response to emergency situations at the Correctional Center. With the housing areas being closed, everyone's being crammed in, redeploying officers, there's no immediate response to emergency situations at the jail, inmate insurrections, assaults. He's creating a risk to the officers and the inmates in that facility. When you add up all these ingredients that are on County Executive Megano's and Sheriff Spozato's budget menu, the draconian cuts that are coming to train, reduced supervision of inmates, it's going to lead to increased inmates filing lawsuits, officer and inmate injuries. You're going to throw in additional duties for already overburdened supervisors. And you top that all off with a limited response that's available to respond to these emergencies. And what you have here, people, is a recipe for disaster.
Can I suggest that you give a copy of your statement to the clerk and we'll put it in the
I got one more sentence.
record?
That is very unfortunate for the citizens of Nassau County. They're already overburdened with high taxes. They deserve better public safety than what you're providing them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Legislator Jacob.
John,
Yes,
do you have copies of your statement?
I do, but I've been writing on them, so I only have one copy.
All right, do me a favor, make up some copies for all of us, because,
Absolutely.
I mean, we should look at that and see, what we can do.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman,
Legislator Wynn.
does the sheriff or staff have a response to any of those? There were a number of issues that were raised there. Do you have any response to them?
I made my statements, thank you.
And there were significant health and safety issues that have been raised here, and there's no response to them?
It's their position, not mine. That's what I have to tell you.